You can join the virtual walk by registering individually or with a team. You may choose how you walk against hate by walking, running, dancing, or being active leading up to the virtual celebration on the 18th. Other ways you can support ADL is by fundraising or spreading the word on social media with hashtag #WalkAgainstHate. We also just launched an incredible toolkit today, which includes signs, posters, as well as tips and tricks for other activities aside from walking. With that, we will highlight some participants from each region to share how they are speaking up, sharing facts, and showing strength against hate. I am going to turn it over to my colleague, Leah, from the New England Regional Office.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. We're so happy to see all of your wonderful faces. So I'm Leah. I'm from ADL New England, which is located in Boston. And I would like to introduce our first guest speaker today from Boston. Laurie is an active lay leader in ADL New England's region. She is currently a member of our associate board, which is our young professionals board, and is actively involved on our education committee. Laurie has been involved for over 4 years and has been actively fundraising for our Walk Against Hate. So everyone, please give a warm welcome to Laurie.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's so nice to meet you. I just want to say there's some construction going outside, so hopefully you don't hear that. But thank you so much for attending the information session. I really wanted to participate in this year's walk due to the rise in hate incidents across the country these last several years, whether it's anti-Semitism, racism, discrimination against the Asian American community, or the LGBT community. And I feel it's always critical to take a stand against hate, and we can show others that we can take action and fight for a more inclusive and respectful community. So I chose to do the walk. I'm going to walk every day for a mile up until the day of the walk celebration. And I think as far as fundraising tips, I do not come from a fundraising background. So I had to do a little bit of research on this. And I think what actually has been very helpful is that depending on the social media platform that you use, there are certain days and times that are best to post in order to capture the widest audience. And there's also even certain words that show that you can increase your fundraising. So I would definitely do some research on that. I think what's been really most effective for me was crafting a personalized email to various audiences, including my family, friends, coworkers, extended network, places that you frequent, even if it's the hairstylist or the nail salon, reaching out to all these people. And, I wanted to make sure to explain what ADL does, why the organization is so important to me and why I'm so passionate about it, why I'm walking. Also wanted to explain what initiatives or programs these donations would be going to, so everyone had a really thorough understanding of why I was doing the walk. And, for example, I had explained that the support would be going to anti-bias education programs geared towards, educators and teachers and students around the country, as well, and helping to support advocacy, for anti-hate legislation. So that actually has been really effective for me as opposed to social media. But so far to date, I'm so excited. I've raised over, I think, just a little over $1,000. And I'm just blown away by everyone's support and generosity. And I think about that every day that I walk, and how, this support is going to go such a long way to help others around the country and fight for a good cause. So what I've always done is followed up with a personal, thank you email to all the donors, usually the same day. And I am also planning, I'm probably about halfway through this time period, I am going to post another social media, asking for support. I'll also be providing updates to my donors on my fundraising page with pictures and just kind of what's going on with my walks. And then after the walk, I'll also send another thank you to all the donors. So It's been a great experience so far, and I'm really excited. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Laurie. That's so incredible. You're amazing, a rock star. So now I'd like to turn it over to Leah Kagan from Connecticut, who is going to introduce our next guest speaker.
Thank you. So I just wanted to take a moment to mention that in Connecticut, the Walk Against Hate is completely new for us, and we are so excited to have the opportunity to do it this year, even though it's virtual. One of our incredible board members here in Connecticut, Claudia Cohen, has agreed to chair the walk this year, and our board members are really all rallying around it. So we're excited to be able to promote it over the next 3 weeks. And our board chair, Suzanne Pinkes, is going to talk a little bit about how she put together her team. So I turn it over to Suzanne.
Hey there. Thanks, Leah. Hi, I'm Suzanne Pinkes, the board chair in Connecticut. And like Leah said, we haven't had the walk in Connecticut before, so I'm super excited it's here this year. And I hope that it becomes an annual event for us and that next year we're not virtual, we're in person. As chair, I knew right away that I wanted to make a team for the walk, and I did the registration process. That was easy. And then I started to spread the word on my social media with emails. I reached out to several schools. Every time I reached out to a school, they were like, we're in, which was great. My synagogue is in. Alyssa Graber-Lipperman is on this call. She's our past president. Thank you, Alyssa. And I got people on my team who are walking from Oregon. They're walking in Oregon, Arizona, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut. So that's the advantage of a virtual walk, is you can have people all over the country, all over the world, standing up and walking against hate, which is really terrific. I know there's going to be a strong show of support in West Hartford and along the shoreline and in other parts of Connecticut on the 18th and leading up to the 18th. I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of posts on social media. I think that really helps spread the word about this effort. It's a chance to do something positive and show that we're all supporting the effort to fight hate, even if we can't all do it in the same spot. For my team, I actually worked with another board member in Connecticut to make face masks that say Walk Against Hate, ADL Connecticut. So that's going to be fun. At least we will all have the same face mask on. But you can get creative and show your support in a whole bunch of different ways. And I think we're going to talk about that a little bit later with the toolkit. But even the simplest and maybe even the most effective thing to do is just take a piece of paper, make a sign, and say, I walk against hate because. Hold it up, take a picture, post it on social media, and hopefully, and hashtag Walk Against Hate. And hopefully we'll just take over social media on the 18th. I hope you'll all join us. The bigger the movement, the bigger the impact, and it will show this country that more of us care about fighting hate than promoting hate. Thanks.
Thank you, Suzanne. We love the face mask idea, since those are the accessory of the season. I'm going to turn it over now to my colleague in New York, New Jersey, Janet, who will introduce our next speaker.
Thank you so much. My name is Janet Diminich. I'm the Associate Director of Development in the New York, New Jersey region. And it's my pleasure to introduce Nina Mogilnik, an ardent supporter of ADL and a member of our development committee. On a personal note, Nina is an excellent writer. You can find some of her bloggings in the Forward and the Times of Israel, and I encourage you to seek out some of her writings. So with that, I'll turn it over to Nina.
Someone needs to tell her she's muted.
I'm sorry, Nina, we can't hear you. You're on mute.
Okay, I'll start off by saying that I apologize to Janet for not giving her a good education on how to pronounce my last name. It's actually Mogilnik, so that's on me. I think Janet wanted me to talk about how I go about fundraising, so I hope that's helpful. For me, I've fundraised for lots of causes through the years, things that are personally important to me. So the pitch is always easy for me, and that it comes from just an authentic place of this is why I care. And I've been reaching out to people for a long time, so they're kind of used to hearing from me, even if there are new people on the list. I set a goal of $5,000, and I think we're about halfway there. And there are people who are going to ignore me. I know that because I've reached out to them for years and they haven't responded, but that's okay because part of it is just putting the information in front of them and building some awareness. I'm not on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on any of those platforms. The only social media outlet I use is LinkedIn. So I posted my pitch on LinkedIn really just for purposes of sharing it, not expecting money to come through that way. So the funds I've raised have come through email solicitation only. And I've updated those. So after the latest abomination from the debate nonsense, I just put up something about how the comment about the Proud Boys reinforces the need for an organization like ADL and the urgency of its work. And I do that because I send out about once a week, kind of a reminder. I take off my list people who've given. I send everybody thank yous, as I think, I'm sorry, I'm bad with names, Laurie said she does. I'm, kind of militant about making sure I thank people. Then I take them off my list and I reach out to people who haven't given. And I just leave that door open. The one thing I would say is that I always expect, I joke to my husband that my fundraising always costs us money because, you have to expect to reciprocate, and I do that. And I don't get offended or upset by anybody who doesn't give. It's their choice. I got one angry email from a person, and that was whatever. And I just said, okay, fine, and that's about it. And as for the virtual walking part, I actually haven't done anything about that. I was really focused on the fundraising and not on kind of how I described the walking. So I'm interested to hear how other people are approaching that. And I guess that's it.
Well, thank you, Nina. And with that, I'll turn it over to Kellianne.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kellianne. I'm the Assistant Director of Education for ADL New York, New Jersey. This year, we're excited to partner with the Walk Against Hate. Our region did not have the walk prior to this year, but we're also opening it up to our schools. So one of our signature programs is called No Place for Hate. How it works is ADL provides a framework for schools to build out an inclusive environment with our help. So this year we're adding the walk as a potential activity that schools can participate in to get credit towards their No Place for Hate designation. Schools register on a separate website. They do not need to be part of No Place for Hate. Actually, we're starting to see a lot more schools that are not necessarily registered as No Place for Hate, but they still want to participate in the walk. So we're encouraging all schools and all communities to join. The reason we have them on a separate registration site is so that they have an education-based toolkit. So we have things like getting buy-in from schools, alternatives to class timing, and some lesson plans that they can incorporate into their school day. So that's why they're separate. But if you have members of your family or know people in schools, please tell them to join the fight, join the registration page. We'd love to see them. And that's kind of it. If you have any questions about the walk, about the education side of the walk, or anything we discussed now, feel free to put it into the chat, unmute yourself. We are here to help. So thank you.
Thanks, Kellianne. So we're going to kick it over to question and answer today. Feel free to put a question in the chat. And if anyone calling in would prefer, they can just unmute themselves too.
So there was a question about if there's any activity in West Hartford. So if anyone can speak to that, or we can definitely send a follow-up regards to that question.
So I think I'm going to try to make a route in West Hartford. There are a couple rabbis from West Hartford in the past who were very active in the civil rights movement, both at Beth Israel Temple and at the Emmanuel. And I thought it might be great if our walk connected those two synagogues. So I'm trying to put together a route so I can get that to people through Leah, probably.
There was a question if this is being recorded. Yes, it is. We will also be following up with an email of the recording along with the Walk Against Hate Toolkit and also information about registering for No Place for Hate Schools. And following that, do schools need to fundraise in order to participate in the walk?
I'm going to take that question. No, schools, we're not asking schools to fundraise for this because they are part of our No Place for Hate program. If schools do choose to fundraise, they would have to register on both sites. So there's a fundraising site and the school site. The incentives to the school is that at certain benchmarks, just like everyone else, they'll be eligible to gain swag. So it is not a requirement, but it's an option for some schools.
And to follow up, Kellianne, can schools access the toolkit aside from registering as a No Place for Hate school?
The link goes out when they do register. So I'll back up. So if you're not a No Place for Hate registered school, you can still join our walk and you will gain access to the toolkit. That's fine. The toolkit won't go out to non-registered walking participants. Does that make sense? So you don't have to be a No Place for Hate, but you do have to register for the walk to get the toolkit.
So the school could register for the walk if they're not a No Place for Hate school, and then they will get the toolkit.
Yep, so they'll get a link confirmed when they finish registration. It'll be like a pop-up, like a thank you note, and then they'll get a confirmation email with the link as well.
Okay, thank you.
Jill, and if you have any other questions, you can just email me after. We'll connect after.
And another question we have, does it cost to register? I can go ahead and answer that, or no, it does not. Registration is free. You can register as an individual, create a team, or join a team.
So I'll just follow up on that and say that this is a great opportunity to reach out to people who might not be as familiar with the work of ADL to encourage them to participate in the walk. Oftentimes, when there is a request for money, it can be a barrier. So this is a great opportunity to promote this as an event that we hope that people will take part in and enjoy. It's a fun activity, and then learn more about what ADL it does. And we also have a question. Helen Stark, would you like to jump in?
Sorry, I wasn't sure. I'm doing this from a phone and I'm not used to Zoom on phone. Can you hear me?
We can.
Are any groups, is it okay to plan a group walk, socially distanced, masked, etc.? And are groups doing that, or is the emphasis on individualizing this? And what is the significance of the team? If we have a team and there isn't a group walk, do people really need to sign up to be part of a team, or can they just sign up individually?
That's a great question. People are welcome to walk with the people that they feel comfortable walking with. And of course, that's going to be different for everyone. So we encourage you to make that decision for yourselves. You can register a team because the team can collectively fundraise together. You can communicate together to decide we're all going to, walk the path that we've, determined, like Suzanne mentioned in West Hartford. And also it's a way to have some camaraderie and be able to get the word out and everyone share with their networks and then see how big your team can become. We're not sort of putting guidelines in place for how people can determine, who to walk with, but everyone can make that decision for themselves and just be safe.
Is anyone coordinating or sharing information about walkers, for example, in Manhattan who might be able to connect, or how do you know who else might be doing this?
Hi, Hi, Nina. It's Erin. We can definitely share with you within the region, and we'll update you regarding teams that have registered, and if there are any, such as Suzanne was mentioning, any pass or walking routes that we could recommend.
Great.
And Shirley, I believe you had a question.
Shirley, you are muted.
How's that? Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. I heard you mention that there is a group in West Hartford. Could you tell me what synagogue that is in West Hartford?
So I know that the Emmanuel Synagogue on Mogilnik.
That's the one I am a member of, and I wanted to know, is there anyone in particular I should get in touch with there?
Alyssa is on this call. Do you want to say something, Alyssa?
Is she on?
Hi, Shirley. It's Elisa Graber-Lipperman. Good afternoon.
Hi.
We're organizing a team, and we have information on Facebook and through the synagogue e-blasts, and also
I will be joining you.
Okay, so you know what? Shoot me an email, and I will help you join the team if you haven't joined already.
Okay.
All
Am
right.
I already registered if I registered for this call?
I don't believe so, but I'll defer to the.
Then I'll find out.
Okay, yeah, shoot me an email, Shirley.
Thank you.
I have a question. So I'm thinking about doing a small team with my friends, but and some of those women overlap with my synagogue, and I belong to a very small synagogue in Westport. So I'd like to promote it to the synagogue, and it's sort of going to be a hybrid thing between my friends and the synagogue. It doesn't have to be the synagogue. It could just be my team with members of the synagogue as part of it. Yes?
Yes.
I'm a little confused as to what makes a team. Like, it can be your friends, it can be, doesn't need to be through synagogue, for example, or under the offices.
It doesn't need to be. A team could be your family unit in your home. A team could be you and another friend. It really is anything that you want it to be. Of course, some teams will be under a corporate name or an organization name, but it's at your discretion.
And some people on my team could donate and raise money, but not everybody needs to. So someone can participate on the team by just walking and promoting, like taking a picture of themselves with that without giving any money. Correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
It looks like Helen Stark has raised her hand. Helen, if you want to unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi there. So are the masks that Suzanne mentioned, is that something that might be available for us to buy if we wanted to distribute them to members of the team? Who are those available to?
So I purchased those myself. I did get 250, so I might have a few extras. So why don't we get in touch?
Oh, okay. I'll email you directly. I mean, it's always possible possibly to purchase more through the same. You have the design for it. Okay.
Yep. And it's Bob Felice who's on the board with us.
Okay, great. Thank you. And do you know, I mean, our t-shirts, has anyone done t-shirts for it?
I think National has t-shirts at a certain donation level.
Yes, so if you raise $50, you will be sent an ADL bandana, which is a gaiter. It's similar to a face mask. If you raise $150, you will also receive a t-shirt. The t-shirts will not arrive until after the walk. All of these sponsor logos are being put on them, so unfortunately they'll get there a little bit after the walk. But we will see them t-shirts.
Thank you. And is that information on the website when you go to register? Is that, yes?
Yes, it is.
Thank
you. In the toolkit that we'll be sending out, there will be a very detailed guide on, and print downloadable posters and signs that people can bring with them on the walk, as well as educational resources for families to engage in conversations around ADL issues, around fighting hate.
And is there a push to actually do the walk on October 18th? I mean, I understand you don't have to, but is there a hope that there will be many walks that date?
So I'll speak for Connecticut. I know that in Connecticut, we definitely are encouraging people to walk when they can, but to definitely post on social media on October 18th, because we feel that we really want to have a big splash that way. Obviously, it'll be harder for people to see everyone spread out throughout the state walking, but everyone will be able to see it if it's happening on social media at the same time.
Thank you.
Can I just mention something about t-shirts, Helen? I know that there aren't going to be t-shirts ahead of time. I'm a big fan of the walk t-shirt, so it would have been great. But I do think, especially for school groups or any other kind of group, buy a few packs of plain white t-shirts and decorate them. I mean, it's a fun activity, and as long as they say walk against hate, everybody will know. And then people who drive by can see it, which I think would be awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, we are almost at 2:30. We can take one more question.
Sorry.
No, please go ahead.
Oh, I was starting to put in the chat, but I'll ask it. And maybe you already covered this. So I know Suzanne talked about the path from one synagogue to another in the West Hartford area. I believe there was some talk a while ago, maybe with Steve in Connecticut, about other areas within the state that have some significance in terms of either civil rights or social justice, whatever. So I was wondering, did that ever come out?
We're still working on that and hope to have something in the next few weeks.
Okay, and also other regions. So this is happening all over the country, correct? Well, in the regions that have an office and whatnot, right?
Yes,
so,
this is a national event.
Right. So if we end up walking somewhere outside, because I may be doing that, I may be walking in Charlottesville, Virginia, and even though I live in Connecticut, so would I be able to find resources for that area, like through the DC? Is there the DC Virginia regional office or something?
We'll have to check and let you know.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you.
Hi, can I ask one last question for Kellianne, please?
Hi, May. How's it going?
Hi, Kellianne. So nice to finally meet you virtually.
Sorry.
So wanted to ask you what advice, so 2 questions. What advice do you have to recruit students to participate in this virtual event? And then the second question I have is, if we don't yet know how many of our students are going to be able to join us for the virtual walkathon, would it be okay to put an estimated number of students who might participate?
Sorry, there's someone cutting the lawn outside, so I'm going to speak a little loudly. So for the second question, yes, an estimate is fine. For the first one, something that I'm finding students really interested in is doing a step competition. So in the toolkit, there's a guide to creating a shared spreadsheet where you can decide to do it by class, or you can do it by school. If there's other schools in your area that are participating. And the idea is that every day students can go in and track their activity. And at the end of the day, or on the 18th, we can total up and say, oh, look, Miss Mossoff's class had 14 hours of steps and 22 hours of swimming, or whatever measure you're trying to do, and then do a competition. Some other ways that we've thought of is instead of having a gym period, using that time to get active. So connecting with your health teacher, your gym teacher, or something along those lines. And then within the lesson plans that are in the toolkit, we have some fun things like encouraging your students to listen to a podcast. We know that podcasting and activity go hand in hand right now. So there's definitely a lot of fun ways. And then also, sorry, one last thing I'd like to promote is that if you can get buy-in from your students to do a playlist, that would be awesome. I know our region is building that out, and we're having music walk to, or have walk walking somewhere in there that would really get students involved.
Great, thank you so much. And I love your idea of being able to count the steps leading up to the day. So it's not like we just have to wait for the day. That's awesome. Thank you, Kellianne. Nice to meet you.
See you later.
See ya.
So one last question that was in the chat that I want to make sure we address. The question was if the walk is focused on fundraising or in raising awareness, education, and building solidarity. I, as the Director of Development in the Connecticut office, I'll say that we are really focused on the latter this year. This is a new event for us. We think it's really important for everyone, especially at this time, to be showing our strength in fighting all forms of hate. We want to be really loud and really come together and build solidarity around these issues. So we're really excited. Of course, fundraising is really important to ADL, and we hope that people will consider making that a part of their involvement when they can. And with that, we will wrap up our call for today. Thank you everyone for joining us. We will send out the recording along with the toolkit and other information. We look forward to celebrating with you on October 18th, and please be in touch with any questions. Thank you.